But there was a part of that game on Tuesday that I think many people enjoyed. Many Canes fans thought, good. That'd be the Logan Stankoven fight. And here's where this conversation is going to start. It started over a year ago. So I filled in on the Adam Gold Show earlier today. Hopefully some of you were listening and enjoyed it. If you did, thank you. But the reason why I bring it up is in preparation for the Adam Gold Show, I had to go find the schedule, right? When do we take breaks and that kind of stuff? And the only place that I had it on my computer was in my notes for previous shows that I filled in for Adam Gold. So I just went back, found one of my old notes, grabbed it, and figured I'll erase all of the topics out of that note, and I can start over for today. And as I was doing that, right, I had to sort through some riffraff, right? There was, what Adam Thielen needs to do on third down. I don't know. There's like stuff from last year. And there was one topic labeled Canes Edge. And I went, that's interesting. Let me see what I have in my notes here. And basically, a year ago today, and that wasn't even exactly today, let's call it 11 months-ish ago, I filled in hosting the Adam Gold Show, and I was pleading. My notes made it look like I was very desperate. I was begging for more aggression and edge and sandpaper, whatever you want to call it, from the Carolina Hurricanes, right? And I had all the same things I've said about them in the past. Things like they seem very nice. Things like I actually think it's they're good people, but you need the other guys too, right? The way I had it in my notes, and it wasn't my quote, but it's a quote I do enjoy. You're not going to win with a team full of milk drinkers. Somebody's got to drink whiskey. You know what I mean? And that's what I was calling for the Canes last year. And then, you get to the postseason. You go up against the Florida Panthers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Did feel like they needed a few whiskey drinkers, you know what I mean? So then this offseason goes, they add Ehlers, they add Miller, they do some flipping and some flopping, they brought in Stankoven at the deadline, and coming into this year, I thought it would be a good conversation now. We kind of, I think we've had enough games to get a feel, a little gist for the Carolina Hurricanes this year. They're by no means a finished product, but we can have our first reactions, our first impressions. Did they have more edge? Or could I have, on the Adam Gold Show today and right here on the drive today, could I have taken those same notes and run it back? Do they have more edge? And part of the reason I thought it was a good time to bring it up is, it's been like a week, and they've had fights from Jordan Stahl. They've had fights from Logan Stankoven. They've had some big hits from Alexander Nikishin. Kokiniemi's landed a couple. Like, is it different than it was last year from how much other teams think they can pick on the Carolina Hurricanes? Because that's the gamesmanship of those types of things, right? If at no point in time an opposing player has to pay a consequence for bullying your team, they're just going to keep bullying, right? They're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep pushing you around. And I think that was the best part of the Tuesday game. By the way, like, standing up for Freddie is good, right? If anyone makes any kind of contact with your goalie, if you're on the ice, you pretty much got to skate over there and at least make sure it was on the up and up and everything's cool. But as soon as Stankoven saw a little extra juice going towards Blake, he jumped in there, made him pay a consequence, landed a couple rights. And I said this yesterday, but I'll say it again. He landed 2 or 3 like movie punches. They looked like they were choreographed by Sylvester Stallone. Just like, cock it way back, arcing, like, he's going to have a picture of him with that in his man cave one day, because it's a real manly picture, a little blood on his face, real cool dude, Logan Stankoven. So I'll put this to you, Dennis. Do you think this year's Canes team is less likely to be seen as, we can bully them by other teams around the NHL compared to last year?
Yeah, I'd say so. I agree.
Keep in mind, they didn't add any enforcer. Like, trust me, Nikolai Ehlers isn't striking fear in opponents. Keandre Miller is a big dude, but he's not seen as the most physical guy in the world. And Nikishin, who has been very physical between the whistles, hasn't been the one dropping the gloves or doing all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I think Nikishin in that sense I think he's actually been smart, knowing that he's like, I can't afford to be in the box for a long period of time, especially the way the NHL, sometimes the way they enforce with minutes with fighting, if you're instigating penalties and those kinds of things. So that actually sometimes can be a deterrent. But nonetheless, I think there's a level of grit and physicality on the defensive side of things that we didn't quite have last year. Again, Nikishin being a big factor into that. And I think also as well is that as younger guys like Blake and Stankoven get older, I think they're understanding more what it takes to win consistently at the NHL level and even in the postseason now that they've experienced it. So I think you're going to get a little bit more of that as the season goes along from those guys. I mean, heck, Stankoven never even had a fight in his entire life, he said.
Looked like he had imagined it. He's run that one in his brain a few times.
You know what? And he looked like, for a guy his size holding his own, it's like, but we also saw him last year in the postseason against Washington when Tom Wilson, the big bad goo, decided to get in his face. He didn't back down from it. And now he's like, I'll drop him. I don't care. That's, again, you're going to earn a lot of respect from guys in that regard.
And this is, I think it's hard to describe. So I'll do my best here. And it's my second try. I tried on the Adam Gold Show earlier today. I'm going to try it again. Jordan Staal getting in a fight and Logan Stankoven getting in a fight. That is super old guy, super young guy, 6'4", 220, 5'8", 165. Like
your stoic captain,
fiery second line center. Like it's complete ends of the spectrum in a lot of ways. And I think it shows that like everybody in that locker room understands it's not anyone's role, like solely their role to be tough. It's everyone's role to be tough. And then once that guy does it, we have to go back him up, right? And if he starts a fight, I'm in, right? If he does something, I don't care if he's right or wrong. I got his back because he's one of us. And it brings me to, I think the only way to describe it is to use like a stereotype. Any NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL player, any team sport, professional athlete at the end of their career, and let's say for this story, 15-year plus, right? Grizzled veteran, been through it, been injured, played for 4 or 5 different teams, but won a championship or two, right? They reached the summit. At the end of their career, maybe a retirement press conference. Maybe they signed a one-day to retire with the team they won a championship with. If you ask them what was different about the championship team than the 14 other teams you played on, I don't think majority, the stereotype answer, you're not going to get, well, that was the year we had the most team speed. Like you're not going to get, well, actually, that was the year we had our best third line scorers. Like you don't get the X's and O's, right? What you get is, man, there's something special about that team in the locker room. Man, we were inseparable. We loved hanging out. We cared about each other. We didn't like everybody, but we knew we had each other's back. Like you get that type of answer. I'm not saying the Canes are all the way there, but I think they're closer, right? And the only way you can truly find out is in the postseason, is if you're all the way there. But it's. I don't want to. When your non-fighters feel compelled to fight for another teammate, you don't do that if you don't like the guy, right? You don't do that if you don't care about the guy. You don't do that if he's not putting the work in. You don't, like, if somebody is half stepping everything and showing up late to workouts and, they take a dirty hit, you kind of go, I'll help you up, but I'm not going to go get my face pummeled for you. When everyone respects everyone in that locker room is when you're willing to risk it. So I do think they're tougher. I don't know if they're physically tougher. I don't know if anyone out there has got a more iron chin than they had last year. But I think there's something else going on there that makes it so I don't want to run back this same segment I did last year about Canes not having edge.